Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. Welcome to the first time. I don't remember what I say when I start this thing. I don't know if I caught myself. Do I say welcome back every time or welcome to Indiepocalypse Radio? It is you're like somewhere between a convention hangout and just a palling around interview show. That's what I was looking for. Interview show. We are here with a collection of guests, of course, from Indiepocalypse, as the guests tend most often to be, because those folks, those are the emails that I have, and then it's the easiest people to reach. But who are these people? And I guess who am I? Most importantly, I am Andrew, the aforementioned host of the show, the organizer of Indiepocalypse, which is the long-running alternative anthology of independently made video games. We are here with our first guest, who you may know from, I'm going to see, now here's where it tricks me up. I'm like, oh, it was just in it. Oh, you were just in it. But, I'm like, oh, a developer was just in this thing 8 months ago. Sorry, 6 months ago. Just a casual half a year ago with Sif. It's also, hey, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I was like, oh, the game brand new. I remember just using it as a demo game at a recent event that was probably also about 6 months ago.
Time flies by.
I know, it is just like when you give yourself a job to do, as it turns out, that job just increases time forever, or just like keeps you busy, But
it just never ends, does it?
No. Which is like, I kind of wish I had more of it, I spent like 2 hours making a post yesterday because Blue Sky kept breaking on me, which is like friggin' death of websites, man. I'm not a fan of these things. But a question for you, to start off, a variation of a question of the standard Indiepocalypse question, which the next guest will get, but a variation as a commissioned developer. When I reached out to you, did you have any idea what this thing was?
I did, because if I remember correctly, you have to tell me if I'm lying, but like 3 years ago, I think you commented on my first game, Chi-Chi, and said something along the lines of, hey, I recommend you submit this project to my project.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes,
I wasn't sure if that was true because the comment is gone, but I remember that.
So, yes, I think that what that is I have a giant list called to play. And then, like, I will add games to that list that look cool or that come recommended by other developers, and people often, and on that list it says, hey, if you're out of this list, probably submit to Indiepocalypse. And then if people keep making cool stuff and they take long enough and they don't submit anything, I knock on their door and be like, hey, I want to give you money to make a game since you won't submit one.
Yeah, I very rudely ignored you the first time, and then you hunted me down.
Yes, which is my preferred. Like, eventually, like, it was weird enough. I got an email from someone I commit, like, an upcoming commission for August. Someone was like, "Oh, I saw this thing," and they were likewise were thinking, I wonder when. I'd have to let me see if it's just an email. I can look the email to see what they said. But it is a not dissimilar experience. Yeah, they were like. Yeah, they were talking about how they're thinking a week ago, like, man, someday I can be a part of that. And I was like, yeah, you can be a part of this right now because I was sitting and waiting, like, why aren't they submitting anything? They follow me on socials. They know what this thing is. What's their deal? It is always like, I was talking to someone, messaging someone earlier, and they had emailed me, like, do you think this thing would be good for this project? And I was like, yeah, it would be great for this. Submit it immediately. It is always, I feel like, the people who are the most right in my wheelhouse that are the most unsure about it.
Yeah, I was very when you made that first comment, I read your entire website and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like too big for me. Like, who are you and why do you want my silly little game alongside these developers that obviously uh, know what they're doing better than I?" And that's why I ignored you.
Oh, you were
And even the second time when you emailed me to commission a game, I had you like
be like, are you?
reassure me that this
Right.
this is the thing that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, no, I am, because I think that is like, I feel like it will change with games more, but I think that is definitely like, if you are someone like yourself, for instance, and you're working more in like the art space of games, like I think having anything that feels like more official than like fellow developers feels strange because there is very little official style recognition, I think, for like art games. So I think that's what leads to a lot of like, I'm not sure about my game. you know on top of the regular artist built-in imposter syndrome that exists within all artists, kind of by default almost.
Yeah, it is instilled in us definitely.
And really, that's like commerce's problem mostly. Like the idea of, oh well, this thing doesn't make money, so it's not good. But like that is one of the least memorable pieces of qualities of a piece of art is whether it made money.
I agree.
Like no one, a good thing to like a good practice I feel with like an art form is like look up, say like, oh, top albums or whatever, a critical retrospective list versus a sales list, and the two usually don't line up very often at all. But speaking of games, if people are unfamiliar with Sif, how would you? We joked about this partially in the pre-show, but how would you describe it?
Oh, how would I describe it? Sif is like if a children's plasticine art project was cursed to become alive and then put into a computer program, then this is it.
Yes, yeah. No, I've played around with a number of games for like at events, and then I think Sif is becoming like a front runner for like a good encapsulation of games for people like to play to get a vibe of what Indiepocalypse is.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it is simple enough that like to play, and it's not like emotionally heavy right away. Which sometimes like, oh, these games are great, but they're also like they're a real emotional gut punch. But it's a good mixture of like short enough, simple enough, but also still far enough from like traditional like gameplay and traditional like game structure that people get like, oh, okay, this is like, it helps ease them into like art games and more like experimental sorts of games. So I think people get caught up on like the what you do in a game, which like if you say what you do in Sif, it's sort of like it dumbs it down. It doesn't really encapsulate what the game is fully. To say like, oh, you walk around and click around.
I'm still not sure what it is even
Right.
to this day.
You're right, and that's the I like if I'm forced to like define art, it's kind of like how we talk to each other without using language, how we can express often ideas that language doesn't convey. and sometimes because we don't know how to convey them in language. There just exist like sort of ideas floating around, and we just like put them onto, in this case, like a digital canvas, and go, I made it. I'll figure out, maybe maybe 3 years down the road you will figure out what it was, or never.
I think I like the mystery.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of approach to art that you speak of doesn't really fly in art institutions, so
You're right.
try to
yes.
stray away from that.
Yeah, I mean, and just like art, art education is such a drastically different thing depending on like where you are going to art school. And even I think sometimes like what disciplines you're working on in art school.
Yeah, definitely. In my case, it's a humiliation ritual mostly.
Right. Because it's like
there's this big kind of pressure for legibility, and you have to justify every choice you make about your work, like I don't know, down to the atoms in your paper.
You're right.
And, like all of that has to speak of some higher idea and be brilliantly smartful, as I say.
Yeah, right. The idea that every artist in making their piece of art was also like, oh, I also wrote next to it the themes and the message of it, which is like art feels incompatible often with like grading, and like it feels like either you did it or you didn't do it.
This is why there's kind of this brutal demand for legibility, because when you have like a measurable outcome, then this is easier to grade and to judge.
Right. How do I score a piece of art on a scale of 0 to 100?
You can't.
Right.
Like, in my opinion, like the only truth about art is that it's entirely subjective.
You're right. And it changes radically, like interpretation from like person to person, and that's like a good thing that people don't have the same interpretation of something, or that people even like don't understand something. I love art that I don't understand.
Yeah. And some people might think that makes art bad.
Right. It's like the kind of like modern YouTube culture of I just watched a movie, let me run to the YouTube to see the ending explained or something. Have a guy quickly explain what this movie is to me. Rather than like sitting with it and trying to make sense of it. And friend of the show, game developer, filmmaker, endlessly multi-hyphenate Bianca gave a very good like intro to an experimental film section I did during the last pledge drive, which is something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing that, like sometimes art is meant to be like confusing or frustrating or slow or just basically sometimes it's meant to be very frictional or like not easily condensed. And I think that sometimes it's too easy to run up against people going, oh, I don't like that, and then going from I don't like that to that means it's bad.
Yeah.
And I think you run into that. Games have that particular problem, I think, in a more pronounced way, where despite the idea thriving on itch, the idea of like art house games is like I think a lot about like, hey, how would you get if you're just like I want to get into art games? Like, where would you point someone towards? We don't. The games lack this sort of stereotype of like the film bro, so to speak. Now here is a very important question. I think I know the answer to this, but a lot of people asked me this question when I was showing the game. How much of this game, how much of Sif, and I suppose a lot of your other works, are actual physical objects?
Like most of it.
Okay, yes, that's what I thought. I was like, those are either all real or like extremely good shaders, and you're either like in a truly exceptional 3D modeler or a very good exceptional in person. I guess it's also 3D modeling, but physically clay modeler. And I was leaning towards like, oh, that's definitely clay, like most of the time, or some kind of physical object.
I used a lot of clay.
Yes.
I bought like 3 kilos of clay, and that wasn't enough, so I also used some photoshopping.
Right. To kind of like cover the gap in some places.
Yeah.
Now what?
There's also a dog there.
Yes.
That's very real. The
and
dog is real.
And same with like the hand and the TV and everything.
Yeah.
That is. I'm looking at it now. I hadn't thought about this in the moment, but like how I also had that remote. Like our TV also
really?
came with that like that. I'm like, wait a minute, that like exact remote design is the same one we had with the TV, and it's very strange. Of like I guess they do make remotes are the same no matter where you go.
No, I put it there just for you.
Oh, thank you. That is my personal connection to the art that could not get found in other places. Now, what drew you to using clay as like, I guess like an asset medium for making games?
I guess clay kind of allows me to jot ideas down quicker than by drawing, actually.
Yeah. No, I hadn't. Go ahead.
I guess I also like kind of the physical aspect of making art in general.
Yeah, I think there's something too, like even if you're physically drawing something, like kind of like, I mean, clay is malleable, but at some point you don't have the infinite undo button that digital allows you, so it kind of forces you into making decisions to some extent.
Yeah, and also when you're drawing, at least when I do, I still get caught up in details like line weight and the style, and the clay kind of allowed me to get rid of that.
Right. Like you're doing it, but it's more like unmeasurable. It's undescribable because it's a feel thing. It's not a like. I don't know how to describe the process of it, but there's a different, like it's not purely, there's a strong physical component to obviously to sculpting clay, but it makes a difference, I think. Because you're also sort of like feeling the depth of something, rather than like just visually representing it.
Yeah.
It is like, and now you're a frequent Decker user, which is a new one of the new like hot engines off the case. Did you Was Decker something you started with, or have you tried other like game development or game dev or game dev adjacent sort of softwares?
I did try many softwares. It was actually my kind of lifelong dream to make a game, any kind of game.
Yeah.
So I tried using RPG Maker, Godot, and GDevelop, and I failed at everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it.
Right.
For me, that was too high of an entry point. And then Decker came by, and it was like a godsend because it was simple enough that I could make something playable with very little components and like even zero coding knowledge.
Yeah. I feel like we're seeing a greater widening as someone who is whatever oldish in the grand scheme of games, and I feel like I've seen a larger, more recently, widening of the sorts of games you see, the sorts of people who are getting into games, because there are more and more kind of like low like hardware requirement engines for making games. So,
And part of what makes Decker really nice is because it's accessible and it's playable on most computers.
right, and it publishes the browser like pretty easily. uh, and
Yeah.
you can like, right, because Decker, you can also like open up other people's stuff and just like see what they did, right? Like other people's.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So that kind of like, oh, how did this person do that? I can just look to see how they did that,
Actually, the thought of that someone might open up my deck and see my really messy process kind of keeps me up at night.
I mean, the secret of messy processes is like they work. It doesn't have to be clean. It just has to work.
Yeah, that's right.
And you got to work it, and that's the most important part. People will forget, all the messiness later on. But where's my little guy here? I have, as we are hitting sort of towards the end of our 20-minute segment. I can't remember if it's in the pre-intro, but these are about 20 minutes. The next one will probably be a little longer because we've got a pair. But I've got a couple of questions for you that have become stock Indiepocalypse questions. And the first up, hey, what's your favorite type of rock?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Oh,
Wait, you'll get your turn. Just wait a moment. Second guess.
okay.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold
yes.
your horses. That's a good question because my mom had this big box of different rocks, and sometimes she let me play with them, and I had a favorite one. I remember it was a tiger's eye. I think that's the same name in English.
Yes.
The one with the like really pretty golden stripes. That's my favorite rock.
Yes, that is a tiger's eye. And second question, and this one can have, and the answer can be no. Hey, do you have a favorite Toho character? Oh no, what is your? I forget how I phrased it. I've lost. Oh yeah, no. The answer is do, because do you have a favorite Toho character?
I have to disappoint you because I have no idea what that is.
Oh, perfect. That's never a disappointment because it's always a good time to explain. Toho, of course, is a long-running doujin series of games with a very loose and open kind of fan game culture. But, well, Sarge, thank you for joining me here today. We are going to take a break and be back in about 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Goodbye for now. Hello, and whoops, wrong one. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Honest Bob and the Factory Dealer Incentives with Soy Bomb. We are back with a pair of guests from a group of four called Cumulate, one of the many burgeoning indie. I say burgeoning, but then you've also probably been around for a while. Indie collectives is Guillaume and Pierre. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello, doing great. Thank you. Very happy.
Same here.
Yes, I'm. Can I get an audio check-in with each of you to be like, hey, this is who I am.
Hey, I'm Guillaume. Nice to meet you all. Nice to be here.
Hey, yeah, and I'm Pierre. I hope
Yes.
the mic is okay.
Yes, it is fine. I just like to when multiple guests come on at the same time. I like to make sure people, for the theoretical audio listener, and I guess the in-person listener too, because I don't have like those little Discord light up things on my stream because I don't bother to do that work because I'm lazy.
Yeah, of course.
I had to do it. I've done it like once on this show because I had literal twins, and for similar as voices that gets pretty similar, But to ask you at the top, the question for all Indiepocalypse contributors: hey, how did you find Indiepocalypse?
I think it's Elliot, one of the four of us that's not here.
Okay. I think even the one
that you.
Well, I will hopefully get the other two on at some point, so I will ask them in a moment.
Yeah, I think he sent the game to you and you liked it.
Yes, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's how it happened.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I'm always trying to find out how did people find things initially, because I want to figure out, hey, how do I continue to do this thing? Because the thing that requires the greatest point that requires me to continue doing things is that people continue to submit things. But I've got to ask if people are unfamiliar. Oh, I forgot to say the freaking game because I got caught up with the collective of it all. If people are unfamiliar with Lombrick, your game that was featured in Indiepocalypse 66, how would you describe it?
It like describe the game itself or what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it was a nice experiment. Like for me, it was one of my first really experimental game. Like just try something I hadn't seen before, and we went. It's actually it came about when we usually made games, all the four of us all together, and at some point we decided to try to each make a small game, each one of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was like the first time I was free to like come up with something like without any like merging ideas, so it was a bit of a hectic. But yeah, I would describe it as a cozy, like small garden, taking care of a garden game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's, about taking care of worms.
exactly.
Or making new
And selling
worms.
them.
Yes. No, the charm of the how do I make new worms? Oh, I cut worms in half and that gives me 2 worms.
Very charming.
It's the an intuitiveness to it. And I was like, now here's the question where I am like unsure. Like, now I have met some of you actually in person, and now I'm wondering, is it either of you, or is it it's an Elliot situation?
I think we've met with
Yeah,
Elliot.
because I had also I had gone to a maze and I was checking out like the what was it, the open screens,
Open
and
screens?
I was
Yeah.
like, and I saw Caillou. I was like, why do I like, what is this? Like, I know this game 100%. I know what this game is. Why do I know what this game is? Like, I was trying to place like, oh yeah, no, I've played it full. Like, all right, that's because they've submitted games. They're included in this thing. Uh, now, I refer to the collective. If people are unfamiliar, how would you describe, what you do with Cumulate?
Mhm. Well, we're making one game a month. That's the main line.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So we are making, I would say, very, very personal games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we try to encourage each other to go deeper if an idea is weird. Yeah. So in the end, all our games are either weird or either very emotional and personal.
Right. I think it is a cool, like, the sort of like the video game collective feels like a very like game band sort of approach to game design, where it's a group of people just, you know I don't want to say working quickly feels like a bad way to describe it, just because like I think that just implies the assumption that game you have to spend 3 years making a game, which you don't.
Mhm.
Mm.
No, it's more like, to me, it's more like we don't get too attached to the games we make.
Right.
That's really freeing when you create something, because then you know at the end you just release it and go to something else. It's cool to like not get games blown out of proportion, I feel like.
Right. Because I think you get easy to get caught in like, well, making commercial, like, if you're making games commercially designed to be commercial first, I think you get caught up in a lot of stuff that is like not games.
Mm-hmm.
You go, oh,
Yeah.
I have to get wish lists for this game, which is another thing that's not making the games. I have to,
Yeah.
make my good gifts for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is not really
Yeah.
fun.
No, no.
At least not the fun part.
I spent like I said, I spent like an hour or so writing a thread that was like getting back into promo. It was like, it took time to like,
Mm.
and like it works. Like, clearly, like that kind of like you need to do it to some degree, which is why I hope to. If your average outsider art dev hates marketing 100%, my goal is to hate it 95% and help cover that 5% for them.
That's lovely. Thank you for doing that.
I mean, I think someone's got to, like, it's the in a more ideal world, art would be a valued thing, or even better, we wouldn't need money for everything.
Mm.
Mm.
But where we've got to like work through all that. I'm like, well, let's see if we can't figure out like how to, you know, do something with art, you know, not just like how like you know, I take a big table of it and I bring it to PAX, which is an extremely like consumer centric event, and I just dump a giant table full of weird indie games, and people are like, oh, these are cool. Like a surprising number of people think these are cool. That I feel more hopeful about that kind of thing. Like it's not only other developers.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting more known, those strange little games.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's at the same time sinking deeper under the gaming industry. Then there are events where you like see people play games and really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think especially as maybe like top budget stuff feels to like trends towards like games as a service, you know, playing forever game, you know, something being a forever game. And like, you know, in my time paying attention to games, I've seen indie, like the term indie shift from like, you know, experiments and twine games to very straight down the middle marketable games made for millions of dollars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there will be another people going, well, what is there a different kind of indie too? Like, you know, going back to that more like experimental, abstract, personal sorts of games. Because I you know, personal I feel is like one of those things that does often get extremely lost in games at higher scales and budgets and that sort of thing.
Yeah. But I think that's also something that's cool that we can do with
Yeah.
small games because we are like not a lot of people working on them, so it can be personal. Like a lot of games, there's like so many people. It's like how do you like give a personal story about like everyone? It's
Right. Or like, how do you, even if it is like, you know, in theory, like a director doing a personal story, I feel like just the amount of time games take to make, kind of, you sort of lose some of that. And like, you know, how do you fit a personal story into like, I don't know, Spider-Man needing to pick up 13 golden spider collectibles hidden around the city, you know? You have to like,
Mm-hmm.
video game design always like runs up against like art design and narrative design.
Yeah.
Now you said in some degree sometimes you work more independently on these games. What would you say is your general like, how often like, oh, this is a 4-person game versus, you know, a 1-person made this game? Like, what is your or is it there is no regular approach? Is it kind of like what you feel in the moment?
We are tending to this, but first when we started, so we all worked together on games. On each game we worked together, and then we decided that we wanted to change this, so we went to a dynamic where we all make one game in 4 months, and then we can release one game a month. And recently we talked about, we didn't apply it, but we talked about making it more natural, like how we feel about the game, who wants to join to make it,
Right.
who you have the idea with. So it's, I think, more natural, or it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just like, as I'll say constantly, I think this is a very exciting approach to, like, not studio, because like it's not studios. It's not like I think there are more. Sometimes people get a lot of caught up very much in making studios and logos and all that stuff, and then they forget to make games.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's important to us too, those kind of things,
Yeah.
because it's lovely to have our own little identity
Yes.
on
Yes.
there.
And having like a
Um,
consistent group of people that's like, no, we're a group that we work together. Even if even when we work apart, we are still like working towards the same thing.
yeah. But also developing our collectivity and changing it is also part of our creative process
Right.
as a collective, and I think we all enjoy it very much to find the system and to iterate through it.
Yeah, because I think uh, game dev, I think, can often be like an isolating sort of thing where, especially if you're working on like a sort of small, no budget scale, because you're like, well, it's harder sometimes for people to be like inherently find people to work together with, knowing that hey, we're just working together, we're just going to do our thing. And like I I was there was there was a studio, I think, that formed and then dissolved. Formed, was included, and then dissolved, all within the time span of me running this project, because I went to go try to reach out to them and their website was gone, and I think their email bounced back.
Wow.
And I think a kind of like collective, more casual approach also gives you like longevity, which is one of the harder things to get in games sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps us motivated to like see like every month, like to see who played our games. We like to organize like small little meetups with our friends so they can try the new game and just we can see each other. That's like I think the drive we have is like just the fact that we are together and we know we can count on each other and always share it with everyone around us.
Yeah,
Like we don't feel it alone at all. It's
right.
great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think having access to the internet, I think, sometimes trips people up too much, and like, well, my game has to reach the whole internet.
True.
Yeah.
When it is still like extremely satisfying just to have like three friends be like, oh no, come and play your games every month.
Yeah. That
uh,
that's that's one of my theory that why like we don't we are very bad at marketing our stuff is because we have all the satisfaction of seeing people play like together, and so we don't really crave that
right.
like intimate validation or I don't know.
No, that is an exact problem that I have too. I am like very satisfied with, I organize this thing every month. I'm like, oh right, I guess I should tell people about it also. uh, like besides
Mm.
besides the one release post a month or whatever. Um, but it is like, the joy of making it in of itself, of like, art would still be satisfying if capitalism didn't exist.
Yeah.
It would still be
True.
an enjoyable thing to make an experience.
But would we make art if no one else was there to look at it?
Right. Who knows? Some people definitely would, but there is like also, for some people, art is connecting with other people. Uh,
Yeah. And I think games is like definitely one of those type of art because of its interactivity. It needs people.
yes, yes, and like more more than other mediums, like what a person brings to it. Like, you know, everyone brings their own interpretation to a piece of art, but like how, like the fundamental way of how you experience a game is a more like personal experience than like most people are, if they're watching a movie, are going to generally watch a movie the same way. You know, they're gonna look at it and then listen to it or read it, whichever you need to do. But the structure doesn't change too often.
Mm-hmm.
But how people approach games, even games that are, you know, more linear and like more like, you know, don't have, I think people overemphasize player choice as being some essential part of something, like, and player you know, influence on the game world, when just like how we navigate through an extremely linear experience is like a crucial part of the art form.
Yeah. Games need rules, right?
And often people just will make up their own too.
Yeah. That's fun. That's a good thing.
Like even like in the sort of like lightest, because it's the interesting, because even in the most like non-gameplay sort of game, like there's inherently like rules to organizing a game just because you had to program something. Like there's going to be like an interactive language to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see that you also, I think, I can't remember if I said this in the pre-show or during the segment, talking about, you know, that was in the pre-show where I was talking about, whatchamacallit, videos and the oft-seen Queen Faith in the comments of a game. But you all also have another, I think, sort of like video superstar in Suneko on Lone Brick.
A video superstar. Sorry.
Yes. No, I was saying, someone who also covers a lot of games on Itch.io. For people who aren't familiar, look for Suneko or Cat Lover Mimi. Also has got a lot of like playthroughs of just like cool itch games.
Yeah. That I think that was the first time we saw. Yeah, the first time we saw someone play our games like on YouTube randomly, and that was like so wholesome. I think it's like one of my favorite videos. It's like it's so cute to see people play our game, and especially Cat Lover Mini.
Oh yes. I remember us seeing this for the first time. Okay, I forgot about this person.
Yeah.
But oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, it's a almost like a weird, that sentiment is a weird thing that I try to think about sometimes, where I try to stay distant from people until they're included in the anthology if they want to be in it, because I think there is a strength to like a stranger you don't know likes your thing.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh no, if I'm friends with someone and then that friend, you know, I say, hey, get in this thing, and the friend's like, oh, thanks for letting me include it. I think that does feel different than, you know, a stranger being like, hey, I like your thing that you made.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's so it's I don't feel like it happens super often. Like it's hard to show appreciation for something, like to show it to the person that made it. Like sometimes I play a game on Edge and I'm absolutely love it, but except like putting a nice comment, it's hard to like show how much it meant. Like I don't know.
Yes, no, I applaud people who leave comments on things. I do not leave comments on things ever. I rate a lot of things, but I I don't know how to, like, leave. I'm just like, I don't have that instinct, and not sure even what I would write if I would leave a comment on someone's game. So what I do is I create a complicated anthology and publish it, and then invite them onto a radio show to tell them that I like their games.
Yeah, but that's
Nice
one.
technique.
I would say it's a far more cumbersome technique than just leaving a comment on their game that says "cool game," but
Mm-hmm.
it works for me.
Yeah, I mean,
It does.
And because that is, like, I think a lot of, and it, I recommend to people to be like, hey, check out, check out people's stuff. If you're so inclined, do leave a comment or leave a review. Don't take from my example of creating an extremely cumbersome way to say "cool game." Just if you think a game is cool, go to their comment page and say "cool game."
yeah, yeah, just yeah, but that's basically what you're doing. You're saying to everyone, go check that out. I think like that's what people do also. They share the game with their friends. You're
Yes.
like sharing it with everyone. So that's
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, this is this.
I
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think also because again you play the game. It's like you use it. You tend, not us developer, but other people maybe tend maybe to forget that it was crafted by someone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you align with this, but and then maybe that's why there are less comments. We put less comments on indie games because we want to discover it more than know the people or praise the people that make it.
Yeah,
Um,
I am in the world of being painfully aware of things are made by people. I think almost too much about that, and really crave that when I'm looking for games. Like I am desperately seeking out that human touch,
mm,
because I feel it is like it's what you get from, like, independent art that, like, I like simple marketable. I like video games as much as the next person, where you're a little guy, you run around, you get points and things like that.
mm-hmm.
But it's a balanced diet of art is what is, I think, an important thing. But now I have a couple of questions for the two of you that I hope you are prepared for these questions.
No, of course not.
You've been given time to prepare, being in the second slot. What's your favorite type of rock?
Pierre, go first.
Oh my God. um, my favorite type of rock. I don't know if it's a rock, but my grandma had this like very sharp desert rock. I think it's called a desert rose. I think that's a cool rock, but I don't have like a really special connection to it. Just
Mm.
doesn't look like other rocks. It looks like the interior of a rock.
Yes, I'm
Which
looking at it now. This is a new rock for me.
Oh, is it called desert rose?
Yes. I presume so, because desert rose is a type of rock, and it does sound like what you were describing. This kind of
Yeah,
extremely layered,
Mhm.
jagged sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually a rock, but I think I like it.
It is a crystal, and and now here's, remember, are crystals rocks? I don't remember. Maybe.
Maybe. Let's go with maybe.
I think I've said confidently yes, but then I feel like I've also looked it up again, and then maybe it was, well, I will say here that Rose Rock in Oklahoma is the Rose Rock is the official rock of Oklahoma as of 1968.
Oh,
Pretty so.
So if they're saying it's
more
an
you
official
know.
rock, then I'm trusting them that it's a rock.
Nice. But
Let's go.
that's my favorite rock.
And not to be let off the hook, I'm waiting. I need to know a secondary favorite rock.
um, I think it's called a cat's eye.
Okay, yes, that is
Um,
also a rock. A lot of rocks named after cat's eyes. Whether
yes, it's one with a kind of line in the middle, and I tend to forget it, but I also always have one in my bag. My mom gave it to me once, and I have it in my hand because I remembered it.
yes,
So I think it's this one.
perfect. Yes, it is. And you know, if you don't know what it is, it looks like what you think it looks like. It looks like a cat's eye, more or less.
Yes, more or less, yeah.
And second question: do either of you have favorite Toho characters?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Perfect, an acceptable answer. It's a long-running bullet hell franchise with a series of other
Oh,
fan games of wild and varied genres.
and what's the name? Sorry.
Toho, it's Touhou.
Oh, wow. Huh. Okay. Well, I didn't know this game. Thanks for sharing.
No, love to share it around. And yeah, Pierre, thank you for joining me here today. We're going to go on a second break, and we'll be back in about a minute 31. See you then. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was all reliable in terms of, oh man, I forgot to get break music, which is, of course, the Minutemen with a political song from Michael Jackson to sing. We're here back with the whole crew. Hello, the entire crew is here.
Hello.
Hello, crew.
No crew.
We're into the nebulous unstructured group segment, which is that people just all kind of lump in and hang out. I am like, I gotta get through. I sneak in tiny little bits of work on the break because I'm like, I don't work on weekends aside from. Why can I not? How do I? Oh, there it is. I figured it out. I had to download something from a Dropbox, but I could not find a way to download it, but I found it. Continue to download only. I do not need to make a friggin' file. I do not need to make an account to download something. Anyhow, video games. What a wild thing those things are, you know? Now, here's a question that I
They
have.
are indeed.
How much do you all play video games? Yeah, because
I
sometimes
play a lot.
Okay, what has been a video game of choice lately?
I say this with shame. I play about like 3 hours of Cyberpunk every day, and I have been doing so for the last 8 months.
And is that just like the time it takes to slowly work your way through Cyberpunk, or is that just continuing to play it?
Continuous gameplay.
Okay, because I'm like, I've never played it. I'm like, I don't know how long that game is, but that sounds like it could also be extremely long. And that could just be like, that is your first playthrough.
It can go on for very long. Like there's many endings, many storylines to go through. It's really interesting.
Yeah, like the for as much as I on the show it sounds like I do side eye whatever big games. I do play big games occasionally. Mostly older ones, simply because that's just like the mode I've been in for a while. Also, I just happen to have a lot of them just sitting on my computer, just lying around conveniently, all these ROMs and ISOs. So I have easy access to them. What about the two of you?
Like physical ROMs?
Sure, I say, winking into the camera that I don't have on. Or that actually it's so off it's not even on my desk anymore. I don't know where it is anymore. I think the last time I dragged out a camera was to do like an interview for something. Like a maybe even a job interview for game production, which turns out doing Indiepocalypse doesn't qualify you for game production, as it turns out. Well, I like to think it's because putting things out on time is not a valuable skill for game producers.
Just not enough.
No, and that's or to be catty, but that's mean. I think there's more complicated things involved, but
yeah.
I feel like I dodged a bullet of like not being in the games industry.
Yeah, probably kind of.
There's a comfort to like, I just kind of have a reliable non-games job. Being able to like divorce games from regular work and then friend groups is a nice feeling.
Huh. I couldn't divorce from game dev.
Right. No, I love it. I love it being a separate thing that I do,
Yeah, of course.
I have had people from work see me at PAX, but that is like a rare occasion.
You must know a lot of people from the industry. Like if you go to all these big events.
Yeah, it is. I have weirdly become like. There's a lot of things about Indiepocalypse that I would say complimentary but feel weird saying them because they're myself, the thing where you can't feel like you make good stuff or whatever.
Imposter.
Yeah, where it's like, well, of course a cool anthology project could exist, but I mean, I couldn't be the one that made it because then I would be the one who made it, and that seems too weird to having been that person.
Mm-hmm.
But it is weird to be like a kind of sort of this nexus point for a lot of like modern independent development, of like someone I was talking to, or I had like someone earlier messaged me. They're like, "Are you at GDC?" And I'm like, "No, I'm on the other side of the United States." Because they're like, "Oh, a lot of people just keep mentioning you," and I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not there." I think people just happen to know. And now here's the funny thing. I'm wondering if these people, because someone else messaged me, saying, because they were at GDC, they're like, "Can you send me a thing, a copy of my thing while I'm in the U.S. still?" And the answer was no, time crunch. But they're like, "Oh yeah," because they're like, "It's neat to know that other people knew what it was." And I'm like, I'm wondering if these two people who messaged me independently are two of the people that happen to like know, be like that frame of reference for that comment they sent me. Like if the world is really that small, which I think it often is.
Yes.
Like, cause for as huge and as massive as games are, there's still only so many people at a time that can make something.
Yeah.
And especially make something as, together and, you know, within a certain kind of like aesthetic, you know, people tend to gravitate towards people who are making stuff that are who are making things like them.
Mm-hmm. I think for games it goes further than just visually making things like them.
Yeah.
I think the experience of making games itself is, yeah, makes us similar.
Yeah. I think we're definitely seeing more, because there was, forever ago, people were connecting on things, like TIG source and stuff like that. Like, independent developers connecting to one another is not a new thing. But I think kind of like the democratization of making games, the number of people that are meeting each other is just going up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. So it's easier for you to like get out there and to meet other developers, whether that's out there in like, an event, or out there just like through like a game jam or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Are there many like game events in Belgium? I wonder.
Yeah, I mean there could be. I mean, also something I would recommend also, a lot of non-game events too, that are just like zine fest and stuff like that, and I just bring games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think especially if you're working in more, like the more art side, the less I think you can come across like, getting accepted to more general arts centric events. Oh, also, I have great news for you. I hope you've got Tuesday cleared out, because on Tuesday in Antwerpen, there's the financial event for game studios and game tech providers.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh, I'm buying a ticket right now.
I knew
didn't know
I
about this.
like. I hope you get there. You can do so much networking. And that, I think
No,
that
but
is
we
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
we have good events in Brussels.
Yes.
Yeah, like game dev gatherings and game jams, and yeah, we try to organize stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there are like more and more cities starting to, like, your scenes inside of cities starting to organize like events, or just like, or even just meetups,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is so important.
Yeah.
Meetups.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard. You talked about how important it is just to have like, my friends, like, even if it's just my friends, we make a little event for our friends to play our new games. Having another person play your game and being able to go to a place where other developers are, even if you're like not even talking about games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Brussels, we also have a super cool co-working space with only the local game devs, and that feels great to like go to a place where you like work with people that have the same vibe as you do.
Yes.
Yeah, really relaxing, and creatively it's helping a lot.
Yeah, because I think that's how you get sort of, I think maybe music is where you see it most often, but the idea of like a physical region having like a certain sound to it, just because it's a bunch of bands bouncing off of each other, and I think you'll probably start to see that more in like game dev, of like people will be like, oh, this is kind of like you can get the feel of a Brussels game just because you're like, oh, this is like like, oh, this is a community who's working through these different design aesthetics and kind of like, talking to each other, their art is in conversation with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It would be amazing to see that more develop. Like, I know we were talking about it at a party last night that, yeah, having like a local game scene where you like, as you can see with movies, like there's like French movies, like Armenian movies, like some very local scenes that would talk, like speak to the Armenian population, but not especially to the whole world. I think like to see that for games would be like very cool. I don't really know if it exists anywhere, but to have like a something that speaks to like very a local area.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I wonder like how much, it's the thing where it exists, you just don't see it because you're not there, which would be a good thing to some extent. But you also, I think it's, the kind of broader thing of games where people don't necessarily dig as deep looking for things. Like, it's harder to, the people who are finding it are just as hard to, I think, how do I phrase it? I think I've thought about in terms of like, people who talk about or cover like smaller scale games are sometimes just as hard to find as the people who are making those games that they're covering.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's overall pretty hard, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a curse to be so underground.
Right. It is right. It is like and so, a lot of times you don't know like who knows your thing because sometimes I I like a lot of things that I never talk about liking, It's just we only have so much time in a day and sometimes it's hard to spend, if you especially if you like a lot of things to spend a lot of time just like I need to make sure I tell every single and you are but that's where I come in. I'm trying to drag the underground into the limelight, a little bit easier, so all the devs can stay underground. I'm not forcing devs to come out from come out from underground and put themselves on display because I also don't really like doing that very much.
Mm-hmm.
I think the sort of like song and dance expected of the modern artist is a bit much.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think a lot of it like helps even like in as much as people think it does. Like I could probably log on to a social media website and be like AI bad, and the crowd would lift me up, carry me around, host a parade for me. I would get 100 times whatever online engagement than I get in terms of like telling people Indiepocalypse is good and people should play these games and showing off people's cool looking games. But like, is it more meaningful? Like is like the 10,000 people who would like something like that less meaningful than the 10 people who like me saying, "Hey, check out this game."
Yeah.
Like you got to wonder if the numbers don't mean much of anything. And folks, speaking of numbers, one number that is rising is the recording time number of this show. So
Mm-hmm.
I am approaching. We're at the part where we're approaching the runway. I'm making my put your seat trays back up. We're starting to circle the thing. So before we start to get into the end of the show, does anyone have any notably non-promotional things they want to say before we start to get into the promotional portion of this show?
Uh, I didn't realize like I didn't know who were on the show, but I just wanted to say Olzoy. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but uh, uh, I realized that you made the game with the clay, and I played it like a couple months ago, and I really loved it. So I was a bit like it's really cool. That's just all I wanted to say. I really like your games. They're super cool.
Oh, thank you. I'll definitely
Mm.
check out your games as well. It was really nice to meet you all.
Yeah, it was really nice talking. Really nice show.
Thank you. No, that
Mhm.
is the aspiration of. I always think that, like, in the worst case scenario with Indiepocalypse, at least each developer gets like 9 new fans among their fellow contributors in that issue at the most. And then the same thing with, like, the show. Like, it's always, like, it happens, not frequently, but sometimes people call on and be like, oh, like during the break, during, like, after, someone who was in the second segment, they're like, I played the person in the first segment's game while I was listening to them.
I did that.
Yeah, yeah. Because also a lot of these games are short enough that you can just, like, play through them within that sort of, like, 20-minute thing. There is the question. Maybe eventually I will mention. No, actually, no, I do have the social announcements, but then sometimes people are not on social media. Which, hey, salutes to them. Salutes to you.
Yeah.
Website. Which, I'm a big fan of people having a website, especially in having an email that I can get on that website. Very important thing for me, because
Yeah.
I can and I will DM people to, like, invite them to be in the zine or commission them or something, but I don't like doing it. I like emailing people. You can fit way more stuff, messages, and you can put pictures and stuff too, and links.
Yeah, I prefer email too, and I so badly wish that I could quit social media and retire to my own website, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, my college requires me to have Instagram because for some reason, preferred communication method for professors are Instagram DMs.
okay, that
What?
is weird.
Yeah.
I
That's
got your picture from. It
nasty.
was your Instagram photo. It was your Instagram profile.
Well, it is the same
Yeah,
on the
it is.
Indiepocalypse website.
Yes, which is also a great way to find contributors. Like, I try to have that up there because I want to get people to find, because I also begrudgingly, like, use social media and would love it if people would just visit my damn website. Because I would
I
prefer.
do visit it regularly. I have a look-see very often.
Well, thank you. No, I hope you see. I try to, at least once a month. You see. Actually, there's a lot more on that site now than there used to be. I'm now commissioning people to do writing about people's stuff. Another one should be coming up at some point this month. I need to message that person and be like, hey, where's your thing? It's weird because I've had some people submit things like 8 months in advance, and then for this time I'm like, wait, did they actually submit something at all? That's logistical work for me. But two exceptional follows here on Instagram, or mutual follows. I'm looking on Instagram. It's always fun to see, like, who's, like, I'm a big person who likes to look at people's comments, and, like, look at people's followers just to see, like, who also not only, like, who is commenting on, like, who's checking out each other's stuff, who is aware of each other's, like, this person's work. Anyhow, it's how I like to find new developers and new artists. I like to go to websites and see who they like. And speaking of websites, hey, I'll let either of you do it. But if people are looking to find Cumulit's stuff, what website would they go to find that stuff?
I let you.
Yeah.
What? What was the? Sorry, I didn't. I
Oh,
didn't get
Oh,
the
yeah.
question.
yeah.
Um, I don't know how easy it is to like know how to write cumulate. But the website is cumulate.games. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, it's like CUMULET.
Yes. Dot games. I think
Games.
if I set off of reading it and then I pronounced it right, I think you can kind of back your way into it. But I do also,
Yeah,
given the audio medium, do like to spell things out.
yeah, but
Mm,
it's a problem of us. We don't know how to pronounce it in English.
yeah.
Yes. Well, my advice is name your name your thing a very long made up word that's long and easy to misspell.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically I did borrow a term that already existed and fully stolen it. But yeah, names, hard things to and
I
speaking,
struggled for this one.
yes, especially when you're kind of like also have to fit your names into like a very like American English culture, you know, who like you go, oh, I know how to say this and spell it, but they're like, then you have to then feed that into a culture that is dominated by whatever American English, who doesn't have that
Yeah.
same knowledge.
We failed at the English part for sure.
Whatever, you know, Americans can learn another language or two. You get over it, you know.
Yeah, true.
You know, the rest of the world does.
Yeah, I think I failed at that too.
Yes, that was going to be my transition. Oh, shush.
But my full name is even worse, so this is the lesser evil.
I think when I was trying to, because I was when I was at that event, I was at an event at a college, and I was trying to like, oh yeah, this person. Then I went to like find something. I think maybe your full name was somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's even harder. Never mind. Like I was like, let me find a way to pronounce this and
Yeah,
say this.
say that 5 times fast.
Yes, but you know that is whatever. They're names. You know, we make these things up. People can learn. Language is fully made up. You can
Yeah, they're
learn.
just sounds.
Yeah. I got something to tell you folks. All these sounds that are language are things we just made up. You can learn some made up sounds you're not used to. And if people are looking for those sounds and those games, hey, where can people find them? Or where can people look for your stuff? Also,
Oh, sorry.
yes, no, that's fine.
All my stuff is linked on my website called olshoy.mmm.page. Olshoy spelled OLSZOJ.
Yes, I'm gonna throw that
Yes.
in there now. Now the other question I was wondering: do you pronounce MMM at all? Or
I just say it's like MMM.
yes, I was gonna say that 'cause that's a better way to do it because how would anyone guess the number of M's you were saying?
3 M's.
3. There's triple M's, and you will get from there. You will get to all the things that you're looking to get to, and also just like you get some good website design. I'm a fan of bringing it back to an era of good site design. You know.
Yeah, looking good.
Yes, too many websites look nice. Or like not. That's not the right way to say. Too many websites look too clean. Sick of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I say as someone.
Yeah.
I say as someone who has a relatively clean website. But
What?
I am not immune to these sins. But that said, hey, also Guillaume, Pierre, thank you all for joining me here today on this show. Great to have you, both on the show and oh wait, no shit, the thing I promote, Indiepocalypse. This thing, right? Indiepocalypse.com is where my favorite place where I like to get people to buy Indiepocalypse because I get the money right away, and it's cheaper there too. Especially if you're buying it physically, buy it there because Itch.io is a good website, but this is one of the particular ender problems where let's say you have let's say for example you have 76 different games available, all of them that have a potential physical edition, a reward that someone can purchase. It does not have a good way of surfacing if people bought those rewards. Not a problem if you have one game. A massive problem if you have 76 of them, which is an extremely me problem. Which is to say, that's why I like it, especially if you buy things, Indiepocalypse physically, buy it from the website. Indiepocalypse.com/submit is if you got your game added to that page that says you should submit your game. Hey, Indiepocalypse.com/submit is the place that you do it. Or if you're feeling confident or unconfident, either way, it seems like it happens. Just wait 3, 4, 5 months, then maybe I'll just email you and be like, make a game for me. .com/newsletter/Patreon/those things. I think last week I committed to the idea of I should make a indiepocalypse.com/those things that then is a very simple page of links to the things that I always say, because I always tell people to go to or call it that thing. I can just make multiple pages that I'll do the same thing. That is then a link to all of the Patreon newsletter and submissions, etc. Anyhow, that's it. That's the end of the show. I already said my goodbyes. I also forgot hey, thanks for listening, whether you've done it now, currently, or are doing it at some point in the future. Goodbye, everyone.